get started, I'm sure people will wonder, and it's pretty obvious where we are. So, the Age-Friendly Community Initiative had this great thought that we would but talk about topics in the community, and this is our first, and we hope it grows from here, and it's great to have people that I know are really interested in food. So, I suspect not everybody knows everyone's name, so I'll start, we'll go around, and then we have three wonderful facilitators here today, whom probably you all know. Meryl Kelly and Dave Bean and Bonnie Hooley. So if I start, we'll end up with Meryl, and then you guys can start. So I'm Nancy Davis with the Age-Friendly Community Initiative.
And I'm Charlie Raymond with the Age-Friendly Community.
And I'm Charlie Reese with the Age-Friendly Community.
The Charlies.
I'm not Charlie. I'm Bob Winkle, I'm on the board.
Karen Bean, and I'm with the board.
And
Brooks
Brooks.
Morton, Western Hills Access Television.
Yay.
Steve White, I'm the community collaborator. I just go everywhere.
That's really accurate. I'm Kate Goldberg and work at Healthy Extra Hills as a SNAP nutrition educator.
I'm Katina Columbotis, I'm here with ASCI.
I'm Brenda Blonde, and I'm here with Brenda Blonde.
No, you heard a Grace note.
But Brenda,
Grace Note in.
yes, that's what I was going to say. Tie yourself to that.
And food, and growing food.
That's right.
And I'm Bonnie Cooley. And you want to just, and then I'll start.
I'm Dave Dean.
I'm
Well,
Meryl Kelly.
All right.
We're here to talk about food, specifically healthy local food, and connecting all of us to the challenge of making sure that our local Western Maine residents all have the opportunity to eat healthy local food. This conversation has been going on, Meryl was trying to remember way back when we
At least
started.
12 years.
Yeah, at least 12, with Amy Scott, just bringing people together in a circle to talk about food and to talk about the issues of food. And then Meryl, this is when Local Food Connection got a little more formal, and Meryl was our executive, coordinator person for a couple of years. And then I took over that role from Meryl, and I've been there a couple of years through the pandemic. And so here we are back again. Meanwhile, you all know Dave and I are connected, he says 24 years around various issues, including the English language. And so it's a passion for all three of us. And all three of us have a different perspective on that passion and different goals that we're trying to accomplish, but they all come to that one, healthy local food for local people. And I thought about this, I could go way up into the stratosphere and look at all the world problems that are affecting our food supply and how this issue is going to become more and more desperate as time goes by. But I'm not going to do that because you all know, and it's a sad, sad situation. But that's all the more reason to focus on healthy local food so that our community, in the broader sense, is able to access food. And so that's what I'm all about. I've been bringing this poster for quite a while. Healthy local food. Down here is the Local Food Connection. And years ago, I tried to list all the people and organizations that we were trying to connect in order to see the full picture of local food. And that includes, yeah, there you are, food pantry at the bottom, because I forgot about you. Our local farmers, who are amazing and wonderful.
It took a long time to get them to come together, as I remember.
Well, they don't come together a lot. They want to be reached out to, and because they're busier than anyone. Yes.
You should
Club.
just say the ones who are not on the board.
Yeah, no, on the
Probably
board.
a quicker story.
Boondocks Buying Club is a wonderful, small organization. Could be bigger if you like this idea. We order online, and we order, our food comes from Crown of Maine, mostly Maine, and local farmers. We have local farmers and local businesses like Nice Spice listing on our order. Every 2 weeks we order, and in conjunction with the farmers market, we pick up the food that we ordered.
The Greenwood Farmers.
Yes, oh, sorry, yes, Greenwood. So if you want to find out more about Boondocks, please ask. The Food Atlas is an effort that is in transition right now, trying to get the whole state of Maine, what's going on in all these different places and who's growing what and how can we find them. It's a monumental task, and right now it's in transition, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's struggling. Edible Bethel was Amanda Moran, and that has kind of morphed since Amanda, and Meryl, oh, sorry. And so I'm not sure where Edible Bethel will be for this year because the pandemic made it so we couldn't go and pick the little cherry tomatoes.
We're gonna transition into for the
North Star, yeah, the North Star kids are kind of taking that over and providing food in that one place as opposed to all over town. The Gem Theater has been a cooperator from the beginning, showing movies based on food that people come to, and that's where we raise a lot of enthusiasm for the organization. And finally, the Eddy School is making films about our local farms. They're working right now on Morning Glory Farm, and at some point that should be done. The pandemic got in the way, of course. Then the reason I brought this, and I'm talking too long, I know, I'm gonna stop really soon. Okay, it connects up to the main network of community food councils, which I'm on the lead team for that, of course, and that group is food councils all over the state. So we share what we're doing. We are the smallest by far, but Lewiston Auburn has one, Bangor has one, Portland used to have one.
You don't have one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Anyway,
they got a big one.
they did, and they don't. So this is connections. Well, I call this a network of networks because where there's so many networks about food right now. And I'm gonna stop there because there's a million more things to tell you about, and Dave's food pan, oh no, Meryl. Meryl is next.
I wanted to say one thing about the Food Connection. You have a fiscal sponsor,
We do, and it's Bob.
which is us.
Bob specifically.
So we are happy to be their fiscal
Yes,
sponsor.
thank you very much.
Because they get good grant money.
We're an easy job, right, Bob?
Easy.
And can I just say something about Edible Bethel, is that
yeah,
there's a
please.
share table there, and so if people have abundance in their garden, they can put it there, and if you post, like, on Team Bethel, it is gone. You know, like, I put a bunch of cherries, and so, just so you know that that's kind of a self-service.
And do we know that's still gonna operate this
I
summer?
would,
It will.
yeah,
Good,
Yeah.
yeah.
good.
That's-
because
I mean, that's part of what the North Star kids did too, is they picked and.
It's the one at the library?
Well,
The
there's
library is Susan Day, and she, I don't know.
I
So
don't
where
know
is
either.
where is this?
Oh, this is at, where,
Nabos used to be.
All right,
Don't
okay, now I know.
create
All right.
photography.
There you go. where the garage used to be.
Okay, Meryl, it's all you.
All right, where should I start? I guess I'll start with Lindsay, because she was supposed to be here, but she couldn't quite make it, so talk about the North Star Garden. They just got a grant to put a well in at their garden, so that will be a big game changer. Thank you, Sarah Falcon, for letting them use her property. So they'll have their own water source, which means they'll really be able to ramp up what they're doing at that garden. Like both Kate and Bonnie were saying, you can still pick up food at that formerly Navos, formerly Community Garden space.
And
And drop off.
And
Yeah.
drop off, yep, and I've done seedlings too, people like
Yes.
that.
yes.
So you can do seedlings, seeds, whatever you wanna do. And then the garden itself is on Summer Street, which is kind of right behind, across from where the old Funky Red Barn was, now the modern barn.
And
Could you-
raised beds, they're doing raised beds.
Yeah, raised beds until they can figure out what the soil is really like there. They don't really wanna mess with it until, they know for sure.
Tennis one.
Could you talk about their outreach, because I think, when I talked with Lindsay, I think last summer, they were really working on, doing as much of it as they could to take to, older adults that need food.
Yeah, so she does take like direct communications from whomever, and they will deliver vegetables. They're also doing some stuff with local restaurants. I know Sav and Elise signed up and have done cooking classes with older adults before, and I think they want to do kids this time around. Not sure if they'll do the older adults again, but I don't know. You know how Lindsay is.
Well, we'll keep it going. I mean,
Lindsay wants to do cooking classes.
No, Lindsay wants Sav and Elise to do cooking classes with the kids.
Oh.
Lindsay will bring them.
And I
Lindsay.
also, hopefully, I talked to Lindsay. doing
Yeah,
a
perfect.
class
I think
with
she's thinking the more the merrier.
Kate, to do classes with North Star kids, is that what you mean? Great. Well, I mean, we'd love to support however we can what is happening with that, because that's really pretty cool.
It is cool.
So like if you want publicity, or if Lindsay wants publicity for what they're doing, happy to do that, or
I'll let her know.
sometimes driving, I guess. But I guess she's set on that, I'm not sure.
Transportation is a,
Oh, we can issue.
yeah, of getting kids to town.
Well, they have a van, don't they?
Yeah, like I'm trying to partner with her on the day that she does the gardening, and she says she picks them up, but, you know, I was hoping to get the kids
To different times.
fill their tummies before they go to the garden, and, so, yeah, whether that, yeah, anyway, so we might have to work.
I'm not sure that our rides program could fit into that slot, but it could get older people there if that's, you know, it would fit into the scheme. But I don't know how that would work. I mean,
The
you
problem
know,
with carrying kids around, we just have one adult.
Yeah.
pardon?
You only have one adult, excuse me, one adult. You can't carry a cart with kids.
Right, right.
We've been doing it a little bit with the North Star program with the Handy Neighbors. Charlie has been vetted, I assume he did it. And we're able to actually drive a car load of kids or a pickup truck load of kids to these different jobs we're going to do.
That's a little training, Lindsay told me I'd be approved for the van.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, that's good.
So that's
So that could build.
anyone here or anyone
Yeah, that would be,
in the company. that
like
wants to
awesome,
volunteer
you
can
guys.
do it.
The program,
Got a list.
I don't want to steal any thunder, but I have money so I can feed them. So that would be great if you could get them
When are the kids going to the garden?
Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays?
Yeah,
Afternoon, after school?
after school and then in the afternoons, in the summer, I think she said 2 o'clock.
And are they starting now?
They,
Yeah, they have a bunch of seedlings and trees. I think they bought a bunch of trees with their grant money as well. So they have a lot of stuff ready to go in. They were just in a little bit of a transition panic for a second because they thought they might have to move the garden, but turned out okay. Exercise for you.
Also, if you ever need a pickup truck or a box truck, mine is available. So
Write that
keep
down.
that in mind.
Yeah.
Charlie and I, we'll put a budget.
Charlie.
Lindsay's
Charlie
office.
team.
The Charlie have a box truck.
The Charlie R
She's
team.
very good at using resources. Once you tell her that you're available and you're willing to help,
Yeah.
she's excellent.
So another couple of things that I've been doing is I started a Facebook page called Food Summer in Bethel. Originally, it was supposed to be just Bethel, but that has changed drastically. It is a very wide area now. And it is pretty much doing everything agriculture. So they're talking about events that are going on at farms. When the farm stands open, I'll definitely do stuff like that. And then I have these resources available as like click on Google Docs. I have copies over there, but the one that's the area food resources is cut off. So if you want a copy, I can just send it to you digitally if you want to give me your.
Oh, so shall I just pass them for them to look at, because you don't have copies available, right?
Right there.
They're right over there.
Oh, they are?
But you can pass them because I don't think, I mean, if
Okay.
somebody wants.
And
That.
from my perspective,
Yeah.
this was an incredible amount of work, and I am
Thank you.
so grateful that Meryl did it, because this, all of a sudden, it's all in one place, and you have no excuse not to eat local food.
There's so many options.
Meryl,
Now
did you
you
put
know
all
where to
this
get
in
it.
our resource directory?
Most of that is in the resource
Okay.
directory, yes.
Maybe it'd be a good time to mention that. We have, the AFCI's had a resource directory for 6 years now. Put a lot of energy into it, and actually Kelly was still here, I commented on her, she did some of the printing to get it into the printed form. But anyway, it sat not updated for a long time, and Meryl has done a great job, and Katina helped to update it. So we are really looking for ways to use that resource directory, and this stuff is in it, plus a ton of other stuff. So people have ideas of how, we don't have printed copies, because it's too hard to keep it updated, and it'd be wickedly expensive.
Yeah,
as well.
this is just the food, so
Yeah,
there's what,
yeah.
18 categories on the resource
but
directory.
yes,
Minimum.
yeah. Okay.
Kind of forgot what
There's some
If you-
behind you, but
Oh, and I'm supposed to be a
So yeah, the
But I
only
thought
difference
maybe
between
you
that and the
wanted to
resource
look
directory is this will have some stuff in
Yeah,
our way
that's all right.
and comfort in it as well. Particularly like food pantry and like services that people can reach out to for like food security issues.
This is amazing. This,
So is it gonna be on your Facebook?
It is,
It
both
is?
are pinned right at the top, along with my dinners, because I'm a self-plugging human. Yeah, of course.
Are we gonna talk about that, or
I'm sorry.
is somebody gonna
dinner?
talk- Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
get there.
great.
Um,
Oh.
So, yeah, so then the other one, the more spreadsheet looking document is a start of all the farm stands. Bob, you tricked me, you had Maple Sunday stuff going on, and I didn't even know that you owned a maple farm. So you'll be on there soon. I did promote you on Maple Sunday, but it took me until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon to know you were there, so I apologize. I definitely gave other people more love just because I didn't know. And so I add to that a lot, and a lot of farms have actually called me or reached out to me to be put on that directory. And then a secondary use for that webpage is that farmers can go on and sell whatever it is that they're looking to sell, and that's very helpful in our area because we have the food sovereignty law. So a lot of homesteads are selling things that maybe don't have the same ability to do like farm stands 24/7 like other big farms can do. So it's just a way for people to connect, but of course it leaves out a huge group of people that do not use Facebook, which is unfortunate. So.
If you can think of ways that I could make flyers or put it in my column or my newsletter,
Sure.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I kind of want like a giant farm kiosk in Davis Park.
That's a great
The
idea.
other thing, that SAB 10, they had a grant,
That's Rumford.
no, I'm 17, it is Rumford,
17.
but I'm talking wrong school, down in
Oxford
Norwalk.
Hills, 17.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
they, I'll try to show you, get one, we did it a few years ago with the Man Harvest Lunch, and it was a map, and so,
Yeah.
and so it was a physical location, and it was really cool, and we had funds that every kid got one.
A map of farms, of
Yeah,
where the
all
farms are.
farms. And then there was activities, so if kids got stamps, then they went to the farm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I know when I was working at Telstar, James Newkirk did his senior project on he made an app, and the app had farms on it, but I never got access to the backside, so I have no idea what it's called, where it's at, how updated it is, or anything like that, but he won an award for it.
Oh, yeah.
So me and him worked together when I was working for the local Food Connection, and he made this app, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We should find it.
I know, I should contact him.
I didn't use it.
Well, Lucy's planning to do the farm thing again.
The ag tour,
Yeah.
or an
Oh,
ag tour?
yeah, I think we should give Dave his try, because we have a million other things to talk about, but Dave is so polite, he's not gonna get his turn.
I don't know what to say, really.
Wait, can I do one more thing?
Yeah, do as many.
Sorry. I'm doing these farm-to-table dinners with some of the farmers in town. So I'm doing one with Chapman Brook, one with Morning Glory, one with Howe Family Farm, one with La Firm, and then a secret one that you guys can know about, I guess. I'm doing it with
Won't be secret
Beach-
anymore.
I know, Beach Street Cafe, and also the Cranberry Farm wants to do one. They just contacted
cool.
me about wanting one because they're like, we like your venues, let me do it here.
So what's it gonna be? How is it gonna work?
So the farm, I mean, it's just a farm-to-table dinner, so essentially at most of the farms, I'm just sourcing everything from that farm or from their surrounding neighbor farms. Chapman Brook, for example, I'm making my own masa and doing I'm like grinding corn. I signed myself up for quite an event there. But,
What is it?
yeah, I know, right? But over there is a nomination form. Local Food Connection has very generously offered to pay for 2 tickets per meal. So I can give,
For people who couldn't
Can't afford it.
otherwise afford it.
yeah,
So if you have someone in your mind that would really,
Love it.
really enjoy this, but they wouldn't be able to afford it.
I'm very excited about the people.
I have like an idea we're doing. Yeah.
So they'll be through the summer is when they're
Yeah.
doing them? And they'll be advertised so people who are interested can look for it and then pay to go to it.
Yes, so right now I'm just advertising on the Food Sovereign Bethel page because I was scared. But I do have seats available at some of them are sold out. So it was kind of like a thank you to the people that were really active on the Food Sovereign Bethel page. And we've had really great nominations so far. I'm really excited about the people that are going. And yeah, Dave, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Because I could talk about the art. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Thank
you, Dave.
I'm kind of more interested in doing than talking, but I'm here. The District Exchange and Food Pantry were founded in 1992. And in the beginning, the District Exchange used clothing was a way to fund the food pantry. And when I came in, when it was over at the Ethel Bisbee, which is where it all started, the District Exchange just sprawled through the basement. And there was this like cage that was locked. It was a little like prison, like a large, like it was just a caged in area with food. It was pretty random. So like slowly over the years we've kind of developed things. Like in the beginning you just go like, you know, if you'd like some stuff, take it. But then in 2012 we became 501c3, and then we started working with the Good Shepherd Food Bank, and that really kind of changed everything. So now there are two sides to our nonprofit. So the District Exchange hasn't been open since the beginning of the pandemic for several reasons. Mainly, we don't have a place for it right now. I'm working on that, but it does not fund the food pantry. The food pantry is just going and going and going. We serve 90 families every 2 weeks. We're open twice a month, first and third Wednesday, from 9 until 2. We do programs with SAD 44. We do, and this is kind of like the first time I've publicly said what we do, because Maravon, who's one of the 3 founders of the whole thing, she and I have this or had until recently, this sort of ethos of we just do it, we don't tell anyone what we do, we just do it. So now you're the first people who are hearing. We do a backpack program at CPS, at Crescent Park Elementary School. We do a snack program there. I think we used to do that with Woodstock, and we're gonna try to reconnect with them and do the same there. We support those same 2 programs, are the snack program and clothing program here at Telstar. But I don't think we directly do it, we just support. And then the food pantry has drive-through service, like McDonald's, only it's more healthy. Emergency service, deliveries. We do a thing called senior boxes, which are commodity supplement food program, and that's a box of non-perishables and a thing of cheese for every individual who's 60 and over. And we're the only food pantry in this kind of region that does that. So that's a lot of people. So there can be anyone who's 60 or over can get a senior box once a month. So it's a nice bump on top of everything else.
And do you serve a lot, is it popular? Are you at max capacity for it?
There is no max capacity. My only problem is that if someone forgets to show up, they take them off the list, but we just keep putting them on. We have we serve 90 clients twice a month, and we have over 90 individuals on the list for the senior boxes.
Primarily the same people.
Well, they would have to be the same people. The difference is that if there's a husband and wife, or just any 2 people who live in the same house, as a house, they would count as one for the. So when we do 90 clients, it would be 90 families, right? Whereas if there are 2 or 3 people who are 60 or over in the household, they all get one.
No, we'll get it.
You'll get a box.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cheese.
Right. It's and then we do when the District Exchange is open, we do an emergency program. If there's a fire, we just grab a bunch of stuff and get it to the people. Of course, there haven't been any fires since we closed 2 years ago. I'm kidding. It's really. I guess it's really a terrible thing. But and then the most. It's not really that recent. It's like the last 3 years we've been doing farm to pantry program with starting with Middle Underground Farm and working with those guys sort of helped us to get to the point we are now. Meryl and Bonnie have helped me get to the point where we now have, for this year we have Swain's Farm, Sparrowhawk Orchard, Howe Family Farm, Chapman Brook Farm, and then next year Morning Glory Farm will come in. And the way that program works is Good Shepherd Food Bank basically sponsors the program. So I take care of the billing, I pass the bills to Good Shepherd Food Bank, and they pay the farm. The goal is
Fair market,
But yeah, it's all fair market, it's not wholesale. So,
That's so awesome.
which
So
is
the-
like, yeah,
the first goal is to support local farms. The second goal is to get local food into the hands of local people. And then third, and it really hasn't expanded as far as it could yet, but hopefully this summer it will more. We want to support all the food pantries. So we always, we're like bigger than Woodstock and bigger than Andover locally. We're always trying to support them. So Woodstock does use potatoes from Middle Underground Farm, and they're paid for, you know, as I said, through Good Shepherd Food Bank. But now we're going to expand all the way to, with all these farms involved, we're going to reach as far as Rumford and over to Norway. But it's going to take a little bit of balancing to get that.
Coordinators right here.
Yeah. It's, I mean, but it'll all, I mean, it'll all work out in the end. The idea is pretty great, and Good Shepherd Food Bank is really supportive. So it's another one of the ways to really strengthen our area.
Neighbors feeding me.
Yeah, and I believe that we, the District Exchange and Food Pantry, have worked with a lot of you, or most all of you, at one point or another on different things, and we, you know, we're just looking to do more. We don't need to be as big as Harrison Food Pantry, the largest food pantry in the state. We just want to help. We want to help more.
Harrison?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call it,
Yeah, they are.
Well, I just want to say, I've been working with pantries for like, many, many years, and the food that people get at the pantry is amazing. It's really, Dave is doing amazing, and the team, and Mary.
Yeah, it's kind of a big team. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't even direct the food pantry anymore, so.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I just want to interject to welcome Lindsay and Justin. We already talked about you.
yeah, but please, like,
But we'll give
I
you
did
a
it the
chance
best
to
I
talk.
could.
Dave, I'm curious, if you have needs that you would, I mean, it sounds like you're going great guns. I know you need a place. I don't know if there's anything.
Oh, I'm working on that, you know? I mean, it's like the secret that everybody knows, but it's just not,
Now it's on TV.
months, yeah. It's gonna be months before, anything is resolved, but I think.
Well, if there are any other things that you want publicized or that you want people to know, or kinds of help that
Yeah.
any of us here could.
In terms of helping out, we have a volunteer coordinator and a food pantry director who can always use help. That's Chris Sheridan and Mary McVeigh. And
Which is which?
Yes, who does?
Mary is the food pantry director. I promoted myself, and then I promoted them. It's like, if someone's gonna volunteer all the time, they might as well have a title, right? But they probably could use some help, and I think that I'm anticipating that starting in July, we're gonna need some help hauling produce around. And I would imagine that's gonna be like sort of a fun thing to do.
Truck.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's I think it's just a pickup truck, you know, just get it going. So, but, yeah.
I was gonna jump in and turn the subject back to the farmers, because that is one of my passions, and I think both of these people would share that passion. Our farmers are not in that business to get rich, and they are not getting rich. They are hanging on by a thread in many cases, and I think that our support of them, and I don't mean just in this circle, but the whole community, needs to look at that form that Merrill created and start buying whatever you can from those farms and from those farmers. They need your help. Prices of everything that they use and have to order have gone up over this pandemic time, and they're, everyone says, but they're so expensive. They're not getting rich, so we've got to buy from them. If we,
No, it's, the grocery store is catching up rapidly.
yeah, true. So my thrust is get out and visit those farm stands and talk to those farmers and try to be part of their support group, because they really need us. If we want to be raising our own food out here in Western Maine, we've got to have those people be successful. And I feel really strongly about that. Can you tell? The other thing
Just
is,
takes Merrill's list and uses a checklist, goes
Yeah.
from place to place.
Give yourself
absolutely,
stickers.
absolutely.
Um,
Art and Ag Tour, briefly, that is happening, we have the date set and I
September.
didn't memorize. Yes, in September, and it's going to be at the
11.
11th, yes, the beginning of Harvest Week, I think. So that was fun last year. I don't know if any of you did it, but last year we had 6 farms. Each farm had 2 or 3 artists, so it's the Art and Ag Tour. And you go to the farm, and there are the artists doing their thing, and they have things to sell, and the farm has things for you to see, and it was just a wonderful,
A lot of the
wonderful
people
day.
that come have never been to these farms before.
Yeah, yeah, and so please join up with that and have fun with it, because it will entertain you, I know.
It was the best. I was so excited to go, and then so excited at every place I went.
And it was pretty sweet.
And we may have more farmers, so you won't get to them all, and we may have more
Right.
artists, so you won't see them all, but I think that's part of the fun of it, and, yeah. Really
Speaking of food, I want to remind everybody, we've got food here, help yourselves and
The cookies are from La Fern.
Bonnie,
Yes.
has the date been set yet for that?
Yeah, I think you were right, Steve.
September 11th.
11th, September, ooh.
Yeah, I know, that's why I remember.
Oh, well.
That experience right there.
Give a good twist to the date.
9/11.
I have one more thing to add. Also, I know, there's always one more little baby thing. I am obviously a restaurant person, like I've worked in
But you were a
restaurants.
mother.
Yeah, that
And?
too. And so a big part of what I'm going to be doing this summer is I am going to be trying to find accounts for restaurants to get local foods and carting myself out and doing all the logistics so it's easier for restaurants to buy locally. Because right now, like a big hurdle is driving, out to all the different farms and kind of, if you need 50 pounds of carrots, one farm's likely not going to be able to do it, so it's going to have to be 4 farms that are going to do it, and that just adds to like the restaurant stress of having to get those. So that's like my primary job, is I'm going to be kind of collecting things from all the different farms. So if you know somebody who owns a restaurant or a food service establishment that would be interested in such a thing, Kate, then I would love to help you.
Yeah.
Kate, do you want to talk about your venture?
I don't know.
Not quite yet.
Can I talk about something different? So,
Yeah.
so I am trying to do some cooking classes for the summer. During the school year, I go into schools and I do taste tests with kids, and I go into schools that are 50% or greater free and reduced lunch. So unfortunately, I can't go to CPS because they're under the threshold. But I am, so we have to encourage people to do their forms, because I know that that's not accurate. But I have a class coming up, I'll just put them up here, that I would love help promoting at the Bethel Methodist Church. Linda is so awesome to make that space available to me whenever I want to use the kitchen, and it's a great kitchen. And it's called 10 Tips, and it's just really basic, but the folks that came, it's really great for people who have social isolation and just being able to be together and talk together and eat together. So I have a class coming up the end of May.
Do you think there's a way that our rides program could help get people
I don't
there?
know if that's the issue really. It's,
No, but
yeah,
I'm
maybe.
thinking of barriers
Well,
that maybe we could.
Maybe young people.
So what's the class? Is it cooking or is
What
it
is,
sitting and eating?
it's, the 10 tips is, eating on a budget. So I talk about using eating healthy on a budget. So how to use spices instead of salt and then just doing simple recipes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I could jump in. Linda Howe called me before this meeting and said she couldn't be here, but she is very, very welcoming to use the Bethel Methodist Church if you have a cooking idea. And so please do. And I would say the Bethel Alliance Church would also jump into that. They have a wonderful kitchen as well. But we have resources so that we can have cooking classes for all kinds of folks, young and old and
Are they
everywhere.
commercial kitchens? Are they certified kitchens?
The Bethel Alliance is.
I don't
That was a
know.
process.
I don't know. What?
I said that was a process.
Yeah.
Is God Farm still happening at all? Anybody know?
So Dr. Murphy recently asked us if Scott Farms could fold into like North Star's mission, so that may be what happened with that. But
Awesome.
it has been non-active for the last few years.
Great.
So, I heard there may be a grant for this school. Is that public or no?
Yeah, they got the grant. I was out on medical leave with my family, so I don't know all the details, but what I do know is that the science teachers are going to be using the greenhouses, I think kind of revitalizing the garden beds in the back. I just don't know enough details.
Yeah.
More than that.
I did the cleanup for the science teacher, and it sounds like maybe a greenhouse, and so.
We have a greenhouse. It just
I
isn't
know,
fully
I know
operated.
that, I know.
Our plants are in there, they're kind of hot. The solar panels don't work and the vents aren't working properly. and
I
stuff.
think that, don't the panels work, but the receiver, I don't know.
There is an electrical problem.
Thank
We
you.
don't know what it is.
I think it's from the panel, it's the holding, whatever holds the energy, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this stuff. The battery, I think there's a connection problem there. If I remember correctly, there was like a water damage issue.
If anybody knows any solar people, then we would love to hang out with them.
Say that again.
If anyone knows anybody that does solar that would like to come check out what's going on with our greenhouse, then I'd love to meet them.
So I feel bad totally putting this on TV when I'm signing people up for things, but Eric Les might help you.
And Garbo
And I've been
Kane.
caught.
Garbo Kane, that you're going to set up.
Do those of us who aren't intimately involved with these issues, do you have questions or ideas or thoughts?
I have a question for Dave. Is all the food that comes out of the food pantry sourced from the Good Shepherd Food Bank, pretty much? Or if not, is there a mechanism in place where local people can donate food?
Yeah.
Like, can
People
you bring
donate.
canned goods or?
Yeah, there's a small basket that turns into a big basket down at the IGA.
Oh, really?
People come by, people who know just come by my house, our house at 57 Elm Street, and they drop it on the porch that's closest to the barn.
Oh, so you
So sometimes I come out and it's like, oh, look at all that. That's what the local churches do when they donate. But the truth is, and then, like I said, for the last 3 years, Middle Intervale Farm, they do potatoes until the point where the potatoes aren't good anymore, and whatever else they can put together. And then these other farms are really going to change everything. The truth is about donations. You can donate, and we get people who donate eggs too when they have extra eggs. But it's about like $1. If you donated $1, we can get like $4 worth of food at Good Shepherd Food Bank. I mean, easily that amount, depending on how it's, what the stuff is, but it's just very inexpensive.
That's something I might remind people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, very good.
it's sort of, I mean, it feels better to give
Canned
some
beans.
toothpaste and toothbrushes, which is really a good thing to give, but for food, we can always do really well. Like we get, depending on the month, we get a lot of food that just doesn't cost us anything.
So, the message would be that people are encouraged to donate money, and I probably have the address, but they send it.
You just
Well,
tell
we
them
have
that costs that
website.
1 for 4 for 1. That's it.
We have a website, so you could just go on you could just sit there and like
It's on my
during
file.
commercial on TV, if you have TV that has commercials on it, during the commercial, you could just go on your iPad or your phone and donate money, and then the commercial ends. And
Not all our readers would do that. But
It's all-
giving
it's all-
them a postal address.
all the
might be-
information is including the PO box, is on our website.
Yeah, there
And
you
your
go.
website is the Bethel Food Pantry.
It's the Bethel Area Foodpantry.org.
It's on that document too.
Yeah.
There's someone.
Those,
There weren't quite enough of those to go around, so you do.
That's good, I
they're-
just took a picture, so.
They're no, these are available on Facebook.
Oh, perfect.
Is that right? These documents?
Oh, those two, yes, they are available on Facebook, and if anybody wants a copy emailed to them for their use, I'm happy to.
Okay.
And if anybody sees that they're not on it and they would like to be, I'm happy to add you.
it's Facebook, but Food Sovereignty.
Food Sovereign Bethel, yep. And it's pinned right to the
Food
top.
sovereignty.
Sovereign,
Food sovereign.
Food Sovereign Bethel.
One of the things that the local food connection worked on this winter, I'm sure you saw it locally, we had soups on.
Yes.
And that was at Methodist Church. And the fun thing about that is, we had lots of volunteers who love cooking soups, so we got lots of soups and desserts and breads, and we had coffee and tea. But it wasn't about the food. It was about, at the end of the pandemic, coming together at tables. And I remember the last one we had, I just sort of stepped back and listened to the noise level and the laughter. And I just thought, oh my goodness, this is not about the food.
No.
So,
It's a service for sure.
yeah, it was about isolation and disconnection.
And people were invited to stay to play board games and stuff. I don't know if that ever caught on.
That never happened because they were so busy telling stories. And that was really quite fun.
Yeah, that's great. But the church is a place where those kinds of things could happen, the Methodist Church, where, I don't know, games afternoon or something could happen.
And yes, and Linda told me to say that during the summer, we, the local food connection, and Linda Howe and me basically, haven't come up with, and Kate, our way to offer food to people. Because soups get old, they get hot, and people don't want soup anymore. So we haven't figured that out. But the front lawn of the Methodist Church is such a great place to have anything food related. And they will be having their farmers market-ish kinds of things there. And if you want to be a part of that or offer brochures from your place, whatever it might be, or North Star kids come over and do something.
Entertain the crowd.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's very good.
They would be very, very open to all of that. Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
music.
Justin can sing.
Justin, music.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They would love it. Yeah.
North Star Family Day.
There you go.
Do you want to say any more about North Star? Of course, you don't know what's already been said, but
I said this spring was the reason that people could contact you to get veggies delivered if they needed to. That I was staying on Summer Street, and that there is still the table over at Stone Tree Creative /Nabos where people can pick up vegetables or drop off vegetables or drop off.
Yeah.
And what's with the library? What, they seem to be, they're disconnected,
They're disconnected.
and why is that?
It's an individual. that
I
does-
think-
but no.
I think
there's
it's
Sue
simply
Day.
because Michelle wanted to, right?
Sue Day provides, she has a huge garden and she provides everything that goes there, but I don't think they would turn down food if you put it
Yeah.
there.
Other people do
No.
too.
Yeah.
I've heard other people take
Yeah.
I've done that.
produce from their garden.
And I don't know.
it goes quickly. Yeah.
The backyard garden.
Have you put food there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to bring it in there because sometimes people walk their cars.
That's what you want.
There you go.
The back seats.
Squash, yeah.
But they don't have a librarian now, do they? So I don't know
Yeah.
where any
Well,
program.
she didn't come.
they-
Oh, I'll be darned.
Change.
So you had to hop on.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I can just go a little bit more in depth with what Meryl was talking about. Sorry we were late, we're in a medical training all week. But so Edible Bethel had been running that space for a long time. And during the pandemic, our oldest group of students who are juniors this year decided that their local service project, they wanted to work with food and communities. And so I wasn't allowed to hang out with them during the pandemic with humane regulations, so I just started working in that garden, so it didn't go to the wayside. So Amanda and I kind of kept it running with the help of a couple folks on the Edible Bethel team over that first summer. So that was 2 years ago, and then, I don't know if it's been 2 or 3 years now for us, but
I get the years.
I know, geez. But then last year, we have about, roughly 50-ish students that work with North Star, and we'll be bringing on new 7th graders this year, in the next week, basically. So our numbers are growing. We put a lot of our focus into the space at Stone Tree Creative, but the Southams have been very generous in donating that land behind Napa. Not donating, but allowing us to use that land behind Napa. We've hit some roadblocks with water and cost increases and lots of other stuff, but we've figured that out, thankfully, in the last week. So our plan is to get a water source put in at that property. If you've driven down there recently, you see the big, beautiful raised beds that our students created. So this is like a zillion-year project. But our goal, basically, is to have like half of the community garden be space that our students are growing produce and fruits to be able to distribute to senior citizens in our area that want to be part of our delivery team, basically. And then our raised beds, this year we will be gardening in them just because of the transition and making this all happen. But our future plans are to put those out there for community members to be able, starting with our seniors, especially those living in housing units in town and don't really have gardening space, so that they can reclaim what might be their heritage and actually having their hands in the soil with the help of our able-bodied students to support them. So whether it's gardening knowledge they need or just physical labor support, that's really our goal, is to be able to bring as many multi-generational groups of people to that space over time as we possibly can.
That's
And
fantastic.
it's been really awesome, honestly. And last year we started, one thing I noticed in the pandemic year is that things would get harvested or dropped off at the stand that the Telstar Freshman Academy students built, but then it would just bake in the sun all day, and I would drive by and just be sad because there'd just be wilted stuff there and just nobody's eating it because it's yucky. So we had the idea of working with Bonnie. Bonnie actually helped us get this list of clients. That's what we're using, the term we're using. And we quickly realized that some people only like certain foods, right? Or they're only capable of cutting up certain size foods and lots of things like that. And so we put out a survey to anybody basically on Bonnie's list from the Jim and James deliveries through the pandemic, and put everything we thought we could grow or acquire or our future plans, and then there was a checkbox. And so now we know what people actually want. And we were up at Evergreen, we were at the Bethel Park Apartments, we were kind of all over in some of the in-town housing units. And on Wednesdays every week the last year, pretty much from June through November, we met as a group of students with some of our volunteers, and we're open to anyone else joining us over time that wants to. But we would work in the garden, harvest what we could, take what we could from anyone else, because we put out a call for anyone that had excess produce at home to deliver it there. If it showed up on a Wednesday, we would distribute that as well. And so our students actually, I drove us around, but our students managed the orders, put the orders together, went to the different apartments, dropped it off, we walked dogs, we played music, just about everything. And so it was really the glow on people's faces when we showed up, which isn't always the case. A lot of folks are a little apprehensive around our teams. And so just that bridging of the gap has been an amazing experience on both ends for us, and we're really looking forward to going into this summer with that plan as well, with our expansion. So we have a bunch of perennial stuff going in, asparagus, strawberries, fruit trees, raspberries, all kinds of stuff down there on Summer Street. And our hope in the future is to partner with the food pantry so that if at the end of the Wednesdays you have extra stuff that didn't get picked up, that we're already doing deliveries so that we could swing by and maybe help distribute some of that. We'll deliver library books. Well, you know, we just want it to be efficient and get things to the most amount of people as we can. So we're definitely looking for adult support and transportation assistance and just hands in the garden. Justin and I will be out on a lot of expeditions this summer. And so there's going to be some time where we're not even going to be able to man the garden and kind of run the garden process. So we're looking for folks to help us just physically in that space, but also folks to refer clients. So if you have a neighbor that could really, you know, assist with, you know, use our assistance, we'd be happy to do that. Right now we're delivering mostly at the apartments in town, and we worked with a couple of folks out on the flat road. And it's just going to be a matter of like balancing what Justin and I can do versus like what the need is.
So I'll follow up with you later to see if there's any way that we can get the word out. But I did think of one thing that might help with that. AFCI is having a series or a bunch of celebrations on Election Day, which is June 14th, mostly to feature this grant project that we've been working on. I hope you've read about it, but anyway, the Congo Craftsmen have built benches and picnic tables, and BAM has been decorating them, and we are gifting them to all the communities. So for instance, North Star has a table, maybe a bench, I don't remember, and what else came up? Oh, the Methodist Church as well. But those celebrations on June 14th, if you had information, had flyers or anything that you wanted to put out there, there's no guarantee that it will gain attention, but it is a place you could put them if you want your stuff or any of those things. Awesome. Well, oh, I know, Brooks. Hi, Brooks. I was going to say something about TV, about your TV. But I don't. Oh, I know. Have you ever filmed like the North Star students working?
Actually, I've worked with North Star in the past and trying to get reconnected with them again.
That'd make great TV watching.
Yeah. Well, also,
there's a story there.
They are teenagers.
also, if anybody wants to get trained in the use of a camera, we've got GoPros, small Sony cameras, so that they can do interviews of some of these farms. You know, we'd be glad to run it, you know, a human interest story on local farms.
That sounds great.
I'm going to talk to you after this, Brooks.
Brooks helped us at the very tail end of the pandemic, like kind of, you know, right before things started to loosen, right before school started. We actually, Brooks and a few of our students went around to the community gardens that already existed at the time around Bethel and interviewed the folks that started those. So we interviewed Amanda Morin for the Edible Bethel. Brooks held the fort down behind the Bethel Alliance Church. Marie Keene joined us at the gardens at CPS, and then I kind of pitched the vision of the Summer Street space. And so that's in the archives, but hasn't actually been published anywhere. So it's kind of a little bit of a history bit.
The pandemic hit and the files are still there.
Are some of those things that you could put on our Facebook page?
We all are.
All those things. There you go. Every single thing that's inside.
Well, it's 5:30, and I suspect that conversations will continue after we finish, but any last thing? Yes, Brenda?
Can I make an announcement?
Oh, yes.
So the Grace Note Inn, we're gonna have an open house on the 22nd of May, and the reason why I mention that here is I've hired a chef to come in and, you know, provide nibbles. But we're gonna run a cash bar with 100% of the proceeds going to the food pantry. So I wanted to invite you all to come by. We're gonna stagger it through the day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. so we don't end up with a parking issue. So feel free to come at 10 a.m.
Traumatized by that.
So any beverages will be available by donation, whether it be coffee, soda, water, wine and beer, and we're going to do a couple of, my daughter is developing a couple of signature cocktails for the event. So, you know, anyone who's curious to tour the inside,
I am, I've heard about it, and
all
haven't
right.
been there.
Well, come on over.
Yeah.
So Sunday, May 22nd.
I've got that written down, I'll put that.
What were the times one more time, Brenda? I'm sorry.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Sounds like fun. Great.
Can
All right.
I just wanted to mention a stratosphere, that the Governor Mills administration received $20 million that recovery money that is being committed to trying to build the infrastructure of Maine feeding itself, trying to get, there's a goal of Maine being, feeding 20% is the goal. And so it's for processing, so some of our farms have submitted grants that in March, and so maybe some local money will be coming, our facility being one. So there's $20 million, unfortunately there was 200 million requested and 850 proposals, so
Really?
there's quite a need of
Cross your fingers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're out here in western Maine, and a lot of times, we are underrepresented.
Yeah, yeah, but it's
So
just,
maybe we'll get
it's,
money.
it's nice to have, I don't mean to be political, but just to have that acknowledgement of, that we need, you know, during the pandemic, raise the issue of being foods resilient, and that,
Yeah.
and so that's what we're talking about, really, with all these local initiatives, and it's, so
That's great.
hopefully some farms will
I
get
know Tammy and Brian Chapman put one in, and they're also, what is today, Tuesday, tomorrow, they're getting their mock inspection.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
yes,
That's exciting.
and they're gonna be helping out the food pantry, so I'm really excited for what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of folks local that put in, so it'd be really cool. Maybe we'll have a celebration.
Oh,
So it's in June,
wouldn't
they
that be
pushed
fun?
back, notification was supposed to be the end of March, and they pushed it back till June.
Did you guys apply for stuff too?
Huh?
Did you guys, yeah?
Yeah, we did, yeah. Yeah. We will do ravioli, more ravioli than restaurant if we get it. And we'll have a flash freezer, and so that can
Awesome.
be something that's our goal with the grant. So that would be something that would be great for farms.
I guess another thing I wanted to mention was for this celebration, these celebrations in all our 6 towns on June 14th. I think you suggested it, but we're looking for opportunities we have grant money, opportunities to purchase food from local providers to have at those. So we have ideas. Not now, I don't want
That's
to.
why I looked at that and I was like, okay, we got $1 million on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. be
Well,
watching
it is
Carol.
June, people,
Yeah.
pretty early.
All right, well, thank you all, and I'm Lindsay and Dustin, glad you made it too. It's good to see you.
Thanks for coming. So I did not say.
Thanks for the other people who are.
There's always
We had a lot.
I started talking, I was like, ooh, I missed a lot.
All righty.
All right, cookies.
Thank you all.
Take
Take
food
food.
to help me. You said it's
If you don't have time to chat,